Good afternoon. Words seem to leave us, but here we go. As a creator, we've had lots of rockets of desire. Now we've learned from listening to you how to get your stuff. And it shows up every time without fail or exception. My question now comes, speaking of a linear movement, as we learn to process it, as we get past the part that says, oh, I really want this and I got it, not desire, because we got that all straightened out. It took a little while. I'm a slow study here, but we got to a point very quickly to where we realized that through simple thought in a rocket of desire, the actual whole world starts to notice that direction. So I need a little clarity with linear movements and how that negatively and or positively sets us in a path.
Well, give us a little further description. When you say that, so you set something in motion and then it gets the attention of the world. Fill more in around that.
A simple rocket of desire is, and I've had for a very long time, is I want all of God's money that He wants me to have. All of it. No limits. You taught us no limits. No boundaries. All of a sudden that amount of money can get to be quite incredulous.
Yes.
And as you move forward with that, almost as a new rocket of desire would come forth, what do you do with that?
Well, you see, we love hearing this from you because so someone might feel that in their absence of really a lot of money, that they would want more money. And as they writhe around in the discomfort of that, they give birth to a lot of money that for a while they hold themselves apart from. And then they catch on to the idea that they've been feeling negative when they've been thinking about money. And so they get it worked around and get their boat turned in the stream. And then the money begins to flow in. And it's an interesting thing because, as we said earlier, most people offer most of their vibration in response to what they are observing. So they were observing shortage and were living it, then for a short time applied this downstream thought and began seeing money come, and now they're observing money, and so the money keeps coming, and the money keeps coming, and the money keeps coming. What happens is, as your platform shifts and you begin to manifest something that formerly you did not have, along with the manifestation of whatever it is, in this case the money, also comes a whole new vantage point from which to launch rockets. In other words, the money was just the beginning, and the influx of it will continue to increase. But now you're looking at the world in a whole new way, because now possibilities that were out of the question, it wasn't even the realm of thought for you before, are now beginning to come into the picture. So now you're playing in a whole bigger game, and you have to learn how to play in that game now too, so the absence of money may have been the contrast before. Now the presence of all of this money and what to do with it is now the contrast. In other words, do I become a philanthropist? Do I contribute to this? What do I do with all of it? And we say the same rules still apply. So you feel your way through it. You say, universe, I want to know what to do. But we want you to understand this is your creation, and it will continue to be your creation. Then you notice that once people find out you have money, there's a whole clamoring for the money. All kinds of things begin to happen, which then you have to find your balance about that. The trickiest thing, and we're just going to lay this on you in a very bold way, the trickiest thing about having a lot of money is to not disempower people with that money.
Right.
Because there are so many people that think the answer to all of their problems would be for someone to lay a big pile of money on them, and that is not the answer to their problems. Coming into alignment is, you see. And so now you have a whole new set of things. You have to find your relationship with the world again. You have to find a way to be selfishly interpretive of your money. You have to find a way to allow them still to find their own pile of money. You have to introduce to them the same avenue to the money that you found. In other words, you want to teach them how you lined up energy, which brought your stream of money, and you have to help them to understand that their stream of money is not necessarily an extension of your stream of money. Everybody has access to the stream of money, you see.
Indeed.
And so as you relax into that knowledge, and that is the thing, this is the thing that we can still feel a little rough in your vibration. You didn't know what a good creator you were, but you applied principles and found out, and you're delighted to see how well it worked for you. But you're not that confident in others.
Right.
Because others don't listen, they don't apply. They still want to solicit through their complaining. And that's what's bothering you about it. It's almost what's making it feel burdensome to you.
When I listen to you, Abraham, and you say that it's just as easy to create a button as it is a castle, I just took it as that was so.
It is so.
It seemed logical to me.
Well, it's the same thing. You just apply thought to the object of your attention and don't contradict it. Most people don't contradict the thought of a button because buttons are plentiful. But most people do contradict the thought of castles because they have not wrapped their thoughts around it. But all of it, in all of this creation. Now, getting back to what you were asking before. As we look at people who are in the process of building empires, the majority of the real vibrational work happened before the money really began to roll.
That's right.
Before they built their first building or hired their first employee. And it was easier for them to do it under those conditions because it was all imagination, and in the free-flowing world of imagery, they could paint it the way they wanted. Where once the manifestations started showing up, now they may be guarded, now they've got to organize it, now they've got to clean it, now they have things to think about that may not necessarily be downstream thoughts. So the key to this joyous continuation of this joyous journey is to remember that in the same way that you created your fortune, which was through imagination, that's the way you manage it too. That's the way you maintain it, that's the way you manage it. In other words, don't let the manifestation distract you from the real work, which is imagery.
Correct. Now I have a more simple thing.
It's tricky, isn't it? Because I had this void, and I imagine I filled the void with stuff. And now I'm looking at the stuff. Don't look at the stuff.
Right.
Let it be the platform from which you still use your imagination.
On a so simple note, and you look at these wonderful menus on the cruise ship, how do you go through the menu and make your choices based on what you want, rather than making your choices of what you don't want?
Well, is not one a byproduct of the other?
Yes.
And in the deciding basis, are not both of value?
Yes.
But here's the key. Once you've made your choice, doesn't matter how long it takes you really, although short is better.
That's right.
It doesn't matter how long it takes you. Don't want that, maybe this, don't want that, yes. Doesn't matter. Once you've made your choice, give it your undivided attention and don't keep second guessing it. Because once you've made your choice, then line up with it. That's the key to anything.
And it is the perfect choice.
So often people say, oh, I have so many options that I don't know which one to choose. And we say, choose one and make it right. Choose one. You choose just about anything and line up with it. And the universe will find a way to deliver everything you want through it.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed.